She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she builds. She doesn't compete because she knows there's no one like her. And if you think being a high-value woman is about looking perfect, think again. It's about knowing who you are when the world tries to forget you. It's about setting the bar so high that the average man gets altitude sickness just thinking about approaching you. You want to be unforgettable? Start acting like you're already everything they pray for but can't handle. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how to be a high-value woman. Not just in the eyes of others, but in the mirror you wake up to every morning. Because trust me, your glow starts where your boundaries begin. Your standards are not up for debate. They are not a suggestion, not a negotiation, not a compromise. They are a declaration of your worth. A woman who knows her standards is a woman who knows exactly who she is. What does it mean? What does it mean when you disown, hold on to, disown? Look at yourself, become aware, become a millionaire. She doesn't lower the bar because someone else can't reach it. She watches them climb or fall away. And that's her power. Think of it like this. Imagine walking into a luxury store. Does Gucci or Chanel ever put a neon sign outside that says on sale? Never. Why? Because they know their value. You either come ready to match the price or you walk away. But the brand doesn't drop its worth for anyone. You, my dear, are no less than that. You are not meant to be discounted. Your love, time, and presence are not clearance items. You are luxury, exclusive, intentional, rare. But the moment you start bending your standards just to keep someone in your life, you send a message, I don't believe I deserve better. And trust me, people feel that energy when you allow late replies, broken promises, excuses masked as effort. You train people how to treat you. Every time you jump on a train or scooter down a cobblestone because you somehow felt you were late replies, you train people how to treat you. You train people how to treat you. You train people how to treat you. This is not a spiritual talk. This is a medical talk. And this is the spiritual talk. It should be talked in modern times about every time you say it's okay when it's really not, you teach them that your boundaries are made of sand, not steel. Remember that friend who always shows up late, but you never say anything? That partner who forgets your needs, but you keep forgiving without correction? That job that keeps underpaying you while piling more pressure on your shoulders? In each of those moments, the universe is watching. Will she finally say enough? Or will she stay silent in the name of being polite? Your standards are not just about dating. They reflect in your career, your friendships, your lifestyle, your self-talk. When you accept a job that drains your soul just because it pays okay, that's a standard. When you keep friendships that gossip more than they grow, that's a standard. When you allow someone to talk down to you, lie to you, cheat on you, and come back with weak apologies, you're saying, this is how I expect to be loved. You're saying, this is how I expect to be loved. This is enough to make me sad that I won't come to work. You're saying, this is enough to make me sad that I won't come to work. You're saying, this is enough to make me sad that I won't come to work. You're saying, this is enough to make me sad that I won't come to work. You're saying, this is enough to make me sad that I won't come to work. But here's the truth. The world rises to meet a woman who refuses to lower her expectations. A woman who knows what she brings to the table isn't afraid to eat alone. She isn't scared of loneliness because she'd rather be alone than lose herself in the presence of people who don't know how to value her. Look at Oprah. Do you think she reached the top by accepting the bare minimum? Look at Priyanka Chopra. Do you think she broke through borders, cultures, industries by apologizing for being too much? No. They demanded more and they got more. Why? Because they became more. When a man comes into your life and you say, I don't do disrespect, I don't chase, I don't beg, I don't tolerate emotional inconsistency, he'll either step up or step off. And both are a blessing. Don't flinch. Don't flinch, don't flinch. I might say, don't flinch, don't fold. And don't confuse being understanding with being used. Every time you uphold your standards, you choose yourself. You choose your peace over pressure, your clarity over chaos, your worth over their whims. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. You weren't created to fit into mediocre molds. You were designed to break them and redefine them. Stand tall. Because the moment you say no to what doesn't serve you, you make space for what truly honors you. Let them call you too much, too bold, too proud, too hard to get. Let them. Because the right people won't be intimidated by your standards. They'll be inspired by them. She doesn't scream. She doesn't beg. She doesn't explode in the heat of the moment. That's because a high-value woman knows something most people overlook. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's power. Her ability to stay calm when others expect her to break is what makes her unforgettable. She has done this with her mother, 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 with her mother. That's what makes her a truth. Let's get to it. You have more. She has always had more. And no, it's not because she's cold or unbothered. It's because she's trained herself not to hand over her peace to people who never earned it. Imagine this. She gets a message from the man who ghosted her for 2 weeks. Her heart races, her mind floods with anger, confusion, even longing. But she doesn't type a 3-paragraph emotional outburst. She doesn't call her best friend in tears. She breathes. She pauses. She remembers who she is. And just like that, she leaves him on red. Not because she's playing games, but because she refuses to give her energy to someone who thought her presence was optional. That is control. In another moment, she's in a boardroom. A colleague tries to undermine her. Passive-aggressive comments, rolling eyes, subtle dismissals. Everyone's watching. Most would crack under that pressure. But the problem is, most of us really feel it. And for the sake of time, we give it to her. We pray, but not her. She doesn't raise her voice. She raises the bar. She answers with facts, not fury. She doesn't compete. She conquers. And when she speaks, the room listens. Why? Because her emotions don't lead. Her elegance does. Emotional control is her armor. In friendships, when someone starts drama or throws shade masked as concern, she doesn't snap back. She just detaches. She knows what most don't. Not everything deserves a reaction. You can either wrestle with pigs in the mud or walk away like royalty. She chooses her crown over chaos. Every single time. Here's the truth. The world will test you. People will try to trigger you just to feel powerful over you. They'll push your buttons to prove you're just like everyone else. But when you don't give them the reaction they crave, that silence, that smile, that calm, noted, or quiet exit, it destroys them. Because emotional control says, you don't move me, you don't shake me, you don't own access to my peace. Think of emotional control like driving a luxury car. You don't slam the brakes and swerve every time someone cuts you off. You stay in your lane, focused, graceful. Let them crash in their chaos. You arrive at your destination, unshaken, untouched, undefeated. In relationships, emotional control is your compass. She doesn't jump to conclusions. She doesn't throw tantrums or stalk his phone. She watches. She observes patterns. And if the vibe doesn't match the words, she exits with grace. Not closure, not chaos, just class. When her family says things that cut deep, when they doubt her dreams or criticize her choices, she doesn't spiral into pain or prove herself in desperation. She simply smiles and says, "You'll see. Yeah? Yeah?" Father Golanath says, you see, you see, you see, you see. Yes? She smiles and says, you see, you see, you see, you see, you see. That's it. Because she doesn't seek validation from voices that never believed in her from the start. Her emotional control allows her to protect her energy like it's sacred. Because it is. Even in heartbreak, she grieves in silence and heals in private. She doesn't broadcast her breakdowns for sympathy. She turns her pain into purpose. She uses every tear to water the woman she's becoming. And while the world expects her to crumble, she's quietly becoming a storm. She knows feelings are real, but they're not facts. Emotions are valid, but they don't always deserve the steering wheel. She understands that reaction is the trap, response is the power. Every time she chooses peace over panic, stillness over shouting, clarity over chaos, she elevates. Because in a world that glorifies loud emotions, she reigns differently. Her strength whispers. Her control speaks volumes. She walks into a room and all eyes land on her, not because of the dress, not because of her makeup, but because of the energy she carries. A woman glowing in her purpose has a presence that can't be replicated. Her beauty is not skin deep, it's soul deep. She knows that while looks can turn heads, purpose turns lives. She doesn't wake up wondering if the world thinks she's pretty. She wakes up wondering how many lives she can impact today. That's her true glow. You can find her in the office early in the morning, not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because she's building her legacy. While others are scrolling through filters and likes, she's investing her time in learning, growing, evolving. She might wear a sleek outfit, but it's her ambition that's magnetic. It's her confidence when she speaks in meetings, her clarity when she sets boundaries, and her courage when she leads that makes her unforgettable. I say to my team that every meeting with our clients must be tragic. You can't make me blush when you blush on your skin. The kids would say that she's the most beautiful thing they see. But there's no question that she's the most tragic of all. She first made the world that she lives in. She would not make the same connection and conversation with a man that she does with a girl. The woman still has her abilities. Beauty fades, but purpose is eternal. In daily life, while some women chase external validation, she chases internal alignment. She's the woman who opens a small business, not just for money, but to make a difference in her community. She's the artist who pours truth into every brushstroke. She's the mother who raises her children with values, not just selfies. She's the student who studies late into the night because her dreams are louder than her distraction. He promises beauty to the world. Let her parents be okay. Let her children be okay. Let her parents be okay. She's the student who studies late into the night because her dreams are louder than her distraction. And when she's in a relationship, she's not obsessed with looking perfect for him. She's obsessed with becoming the best version of herself for herself. She knows that the right man will love the way her mind works, the way she builds herself, the way she doesn't rely on beauty to feel worthy. She can walk into a room with no makeup and still command respect because her confidence isn't applied on her face. It's rooted in her mission. Even on social media, she's different. While others post to impress, she posts to empower. Her captions carry wisdom. Her stories carry value. She isn't trying to compete with bodies. She's competing with her own past. Every photo she shares isn't about saying, "Look at me," but "Learn with me." That's what draws people in. That's why her presence is powerful, because her purpose is pure. At the gym, she's not trying to become someone else. She's sculpting discipline. Her glow isn't just in her figure, it's in her determination. She shows up not because she hates how she looks, but because she loves how she feels when she takes care of herself. The sweat is sacred. The journey is personal. The mirror doesn't define her. The mindset does. She's the woman who volunteers when no one's watching. The one who mentors girls who've forgotten their worth. The one who writes at 2 a.m. because her voice might be someone else's survival. The one who says, "I'm not here to look pretty for the world, I'm here to change it." That's what sets her apart. And the most beautiful part, she doesn't need to be loud about it. Her consistency speaks. Her presence speaks. Her purpose screams even in her silence. People feel something when she enters a room, and they remember something long after she's gone. Not her perfume, not her heels, but her passion, her focus, her impact. She's proof that real beauty isn't about the way you decorate your face, it's about the way you carry your fire. It's about the spark in your eyes when you talk about what you love. The glow that radiates from a woman who knows she's here to do more than just be seen. She's here to serve, to lead, to transform. She walks with presence, not pride. She's here to serve, to lead, to transform. She walks with presence, not pride. She's here to serve, to lead, to transform. She walks with presence, not pride. She's here to serve, to lead, to transform. She walks with presence, not pride. She's here to serve, to lead, to transform. And if you look closely, you'll notice something divine about her aura. It's protected. She doesn't give everyone access to her. Not because she's arrogant, but because she's aware. Aware that her energy is a currency. And not everyone deserves to spend it. She guards her energy like royalty because she knows what it cost her to build that peace. She knows how hard it was to heal, to evolve, to rise. So now, access to her, it's not free, it's earned. At work, when toxic co-workers try to pull her into gossip or drama, she doesn't take the bait. She smiles with grace, nods with respect, and keeps her boundaries firm. While others waste energy discussing people, she invests her energy building ideas, solutions, and goals. She's not rude, she's intentional. Because she understands something most don't. Every conversation either feeds you, and she refuses to starve her soul just to fit in. When her phone rings, she doesn't pick up every call. When messages come in, she doesn't reply instantly. Not because she's playing games, but because she prioritizes her peace. If it's not urgent, it can wait. If it's not kind, it won't get a reply. She's no longer addicted to over-explaining, over-giving, or overextending. She's learnt that protecting her energy isn't selfish, it's sacred. In her family, where expectations run high and opinions fly without filters, she's learnt to smile, listen, and protect her core. She doesn't argue with those who are committed to misunderstanding her. She doesn't break herself to meet outdated standards or please people who never clap when she wins. She's mastered the art of detachment. Her energy doesn't rise or fall based on their approval. She loves deeply, but she loves herself deeply too. In relationships, she doesn't tolerate emotional chaos. If a man comes in with inconsistency, mixed signals, or disrespect, she doesn't chase him, she releases him. Not because she's cold, but because she values her emotional stability. She doesn't date to fill a void. She dates to build a kingdom. And if the man isn't aligned with her values or vision, she exits quietly. No fights, no begging, just distance, dripping in dignity. Even in friendships, she doesn't keep people around just because of history. If the energy no longer matches the depth she's grown into, she lets it fade. She doesn't entertain flaky friends, jealousy masked as support, or fake loyalty. Her circle may be smaller now, but it's purer, tighter, stronger. And that makes all the difference. When she travels with intention. When she creates with soul. When she rests without guilt. Her energy is not something she wastes to prove she's busy or productive every minute. She knows the value of stillness, of listening to her intuition, of saying no without a paragraph of explanation. She has become a master at emotional hygiene. Just like she washes her face, she detoxes her soul. She unfollows pages that make her question her worth. She unsubscribes from negativity. She blocks chaos without remorse. She chooses joy like a ritual. Peace is her perfume, and presence is her crown. Because she understands this truth. The world will take everything from a woman who doesn't protect her energy. They'll take her kindness for weakness, her giving nature for an endless supply, her softness for permission to invade. But not anymore. She's learned the difference between being open-hearted and being emotionally unguarded. And then she's learned the difference between being open-hearted and being emotionally unguarded. She now walks with quiet power, soft strength, and unshakable standards. There's something hauntingly powerful about a woman who chooses silence over screaming. A woman who doesn't explain her worth, doesn't argue to be understood, doesn't beg to be seen. Her silence isn't weakness. It's a roar that only the mature can hear. She knows that in a world obsessed with noise, her quiet confidence unsettles the insecure. Because silence from a woman who used to speak up for everything means she's done trying. That's not surrender. That's self-respect. In relationships, when he disrespects her one too many times, when the apologies come late and the actions never change, she doesn't lash out, she doesn't throw insults, she just stops. Stops replying to inconsistency. Stops explaining what he already knows. Stops arguing with someone who only listens to respond, not understand. And that silence is louder than any shouting match. It's her saying, "You're no longer worth the energy I once gave so freely." When a friend betrays her trust, she doesn't gather the group for drama. She doesn't send paragraphs filled with pain. She simply pulls back, quietly, softly, but permanently. She realizes she doesn't need to announce her departure. Those who cause the wound will feel the shift. Her absence becomes her protest. Her silence becomes the boundary. At work, when a colleague tries to discredit her, she doesn't explode in meetings. She lets her performance speak. She lets her results do the talking. She knows that defending herself against every critic only drains her spirit. So instead, she levels up. She outgrows, outshines, and outlasts. She understands. A lion doesn't turn when small dogs bark. Even in her home, when family members cross lines or try to dictate her choices, she doesn't engage in endless debates. She listens, nods, and then continues doing what aligns with her soul. She's learned that arguing with people committed to misunderstanding her is a war not worth fighting. Her peace is too valuable to spend on validation. When life breaks her heart, when love walks away, when opportunities slip through her fingers, she doesn't broadcast her pain. When love walks away, when opportunities slip through her fingers, she doesn't broadcast her pain. She grieves in silence. She heals in solitude. Because she knows that her comeback will be the loudest statement she ever makes. She's not out to prove anything to anyone. Her silence is her sanctuary. Her stillness is her storm. On social media, she isn't posting cryptic quotes or subtweets. She's not seeking attention. She's busy evolving. While others are performing, she's transforming. She's too focused on growth to entertain shallow applause. Her silence online is not absence. It's alignment. She's building in private what others won't understand until it's undeniable. And even in love, when a man doesn't show up for her the way she deserves, when his actions fall short of his words, she doesn't demand more. She simply steps back. Because she knows that true love never has to be begged for. That the right man will hear her silence louder than any plea. He'll feel the distance and realize he lost a woman who loved in silence but walked away in strength. Every time she chooses silence, she's choosing herself. She's choosing her dignity over drama, her values over validation, her peace over pointless conversations. And the people who once mistook her silence for surrender, they'll remember her the most. Because a woman who walks away quietly walks away with power. Her silence isn't empty. It's full of lessons, full of strength, full of the woman she had to become after being too loud for people who never listened. And now she speaks through her actions, through her absence, through her evolution. That's not weakness. That's a woman who has mastered the language of self-respect without saying a word. She doesn't wait for someone to come rescue her. She doesn't sit around waiting for a man to give her the life she dreams of. She wakes up, ties her hair, checks her goals, and gets to work. Because a high-value woman builds a life that feels like freedom, not just looks like it on Instagram, but one that actually feeds her soul. She's not chasing luxury for validation. She's chasing liberation. Her schedule, her space, her soul, all hers. She's the woman who wakes up early, not because someone told her to, but because she's on fire for her purpose. Her purpose. She drinks her coffee slowly, she journals her intentions, she sets boundaries for her day, she doesn't hit snooze on her dreams. While others are living on autopilot, she's designing her reality. She knows freedom isn't handed to you. It's built, choice by choice, boundary by boundary, day by day. In her career, She doesn't settle for a paycheck that barely pays her bills and drains her spirit. She knows that freedom starts where fear ends. She faces her fear and she becomes uncomfortable. She starts procrastinating. She designs her bills. 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 She starts procrastinating. So she studies. She networks. She takes risks. Maybe she starts a business. Maybe she climbs the corporate ladder. Maybe she changes paths altogether. But every move she makes is toward independence, toward options, toward choosing her yes and no without asking for permission. In her relationships, she doesn't rely on a partner to feel complete. She's not looking to be saved. She's looking to build with someone who understands freedom too. She's not impressed by empty promises or shallow compliments. She's impressed by emotional maturity, by loyalty, by men who value her peace as much as she does. Because she's already created a life she loves. Anyone who joins her must add value, not chaos. And when she's single, she doesn't feel lonely. She feels light. She takes herself to dinner, travels solo, laughs freely, reads, writes, explores. So kon sole? Soshili? Soshili? She takes her life for herself. She tries to explore. She doesn't wait to be invited into someone else's happiness. She throws a party for one. That's freedom. The ability to enjoy your own company without feeling like something's missing. She knows her joy isn't delayed until marriage, children, or career success. Her joy is now. Because she's present. She's alive. She's grateful. Even in her finances, she builds with intention. She learns, she saves, she invests. She refuses to be controlled by dependence. Money doesn't rule her, but it doesn't scare her either. She doesn't shop to fill a void. She doesn't buy to impress. She buys to express, to reward, to honor her journey. Financial freedom is her goal, not because she wants to brag, but because she wants to breathe. Her friendships feel like home, not performance, not pressure. She surrounds herself with women who speak light, not competition. She surrounds herself with women who speak light, not competition. With people who clap when she wins and sit with her when she struggles. She's not around crowds to feel seen. She's around quality to feel safe. That's emotional freedom. When you can be your raw self and still be loved. And spiritually, she's anchored. She meditates, prays, connects. Not for show, not to tick a box, but because her freedom starts from within. Her mind isn't a prison. It's a garden. And she's learned to water it with gratitude, discipline, and truth. She travels not to escape, but to expand. She creates routines not to feel rigid, but to stay grounded. She's mastered the art of saying no to anything that robs her peace. Whether that's a draining conversation, a toxic pattern, or a version of herself she's outgrown, she releases it. Not with guilt, but with grace. Because her freedom isn't just about what she does, she releases it. Not with guilt, but with grace. Because her freedom isn't just about what she does, it's about what she refuses to tolerate anymore. And every decision she makes echoes with one powerful statement. This life is mine. Fully. Fiercely. She's not perfect. She's powerful. She's not flawless. She's fearless. The high-value woman isn't created overnight. She's built in silence, in solitude, in seasons of pain that no one clapped for. She is the result of everything she survived and everything she refused to become. And if you're listening right now, wondering if you can ever become that woman, you already are. The moment you decide to rise, to reclaim your power, to say no more to what breaks your soul, you've stepped into her shoes. And let me tell you something. Those shoes were never too big. They were just waiting for you to grow into them. A high-value woman doesn't walk in rooms hoping to be liked. She walks in rooted in who she is. And if someone doesn't vibe with her light, that's their problem, not hers. She doesn't seek validation. She radiates it. She doesn't just attract attention. She attracts alignment. Because her worth is not a question, it's the answer. When they tell her she's too loud, she roars louder. When they say she's too independent, she rises even higher. When they call her intimidating, she smiles. Because she knows, I'm not intimidating. You're just intimidated by a woman who knows what she deserves. And she'll never apologize for it again. She has walked through heartbreak and still chose to love. She's been doubted but never destroyed. She has been underestimated, overlooked, and even betrayed. But she's still here, thriving, glowing, evolving. She has learned the art of being unbothered in chaos, graceful under pressure, and silent in storms. She doesn't argue anymore. She doesn't chase anymore. She doesn't beg anymore. She chooses, and that's what makes her unstoppable. It's quiet, it's consistent, it's in the way she doesn't fold when life shakes her. It's in the way she turns her pain into power and her scars into standards. It's in the way she holds her head high after being broken, knowing that nothing and no one defines her destiny but her own hands. And she's ready to build something legendary with them. You think diamonds shine? Watch a woman who chooses herself. You think fire burns? Watch a woman who sets boundaries. You think royalty sits on thrones? No. Royalty walks among us every day, wrapped in resilience, crowned with self-worth, and draped in dignity. She's not asking you to understand her. She's not asking you to choose her. She's not asking you to stay. She's telling you, this is who I am. And if that's too much for you, move aside. Because she has no time for half loves, fake friends, or empty apologies. She's building empires, raising her vibration, and aligning with her divine purpose. She's not waiting for the world to give her space. She's taking up space like she was born for it. Because she was. The most dangerous woman is not the one who screams for attention. It's the one who knows she doesn't need it. The one who sits alone in peace, builds in silence, heals in private, and then shows up glowing with no explanation. That's power. That's grace. That's legacy. So to every woman listening, remember this. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to shrink for someone else's comfort. You were never meant to beg for a seat at the table. You are the table. You are the voice. You are the fire. And the world will either rise to meet your standards, or it will lose the privilege of knowing your magic. As Maya Angelou once said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. So stand tall, walk boldly, love yourself so fiercely that no one ever questions how they should treat you. You are not hard to love. You are just hard to fool. And from this day forward, you owe no one an apology for becoming the woman you were always meant to be. Let the world adjust to your shine.